German company Hotbot has created a female robot for bachelors suffering from loneliness. However, to start mass production, they need to get authorization from the US Congress. To do this, they make a promotional video touting the virtues of female robots. They then send the commercial to Senator Biter. The senator immediately likes their product and is willing to advocate for the company in Congress. But in return, they must send one robot as a gift. Among the collection of robots, he especially liked a robot named Bordeaux. The company representatives agreed and sent the robot in a special box. Fraser and Kuntz are responsible for the delivery of the goods. However, on the way to the senator's office, they hear a banging sound coming from the box and stop the car. But when they open the box, they are attacked by a robot and run away. After half an hour, they regain consciousness, immediately contact the senator and go in search of the robot. Meanwhile, Leonard and Limous were driving home from work when suddenly a woman appears in front of them. They immediately get out of the car and see the woman lying naked. They don't know what to do with her, so Leonard suggests that Limous hide her in his house for now. The next day, when Limous' parents have gone to work, Leonard comes home with a chainsaw to defend himself, since they don't know who the woman is. They prepare to attack, but suddenly the woman comes out of the shower and asks what they want with her. The friends don't know what to tell her, so she invites them into the bedroom. The robot undresses and Limous asks his friend to leave the room. However, after a few minutes, he hears his friend screaming and comes back into the room with a chainsaw. At this point, they realize that it is a robot. They decide to take the robot to an acquaintance who might be able to fix it. Meanwhile, a senator asks the agents where his robot has gone. Elsewhere, the men take the doll to Benny, the owner of an adult goods store. However, the man states that this is the first time he has seen such a robot, even though it is an adult product. When he connects the robot to the internet, the agents receive information about its whereabouts. When Limous inserts his credit card between Bordeaux's lips, she comes to her senses. After buying her new clothes, they decide to return home. Now no one can stop them from using the robot. The robot's program has saved the location of all the hotels in the country. On the way, Boudreaux tells them which hotel to stay at to finish the job. However, they didn't have the money to get a hotel room, so Limous brings her to his house. He decides to take care of business before his parents arrive. Cheerfully suggesting that she dance, they start dancing. However, no sooner do they move on to the next activity than Limous' mother appears. He then decides to hide the robot in his sister's toy house in the backyard. The next day, Shakobi comes to the toy house to play. She is very surprised by the appearance of a strange woman, but the situation does not frighten her. They both sit down at the table and start talking to each other. Shakobi shares her thoughts on family values, introducing new information into the robot's mind. Now, when Limous arrives, she refuses to make love to him, claiming that they must get married first. They immediately realize that her consciousness has changed after talking to Shakobi. However, they do not know how to reset the system back to its original state. So they decide to stage a fake wedding to make love to her. The agents break into Benny's store and force him to tell them where the robot is now. Meanwhile, the friends, unaware of the impending danger, are looking for a suitable ring they can afford. But suddenly they see their classmate Rodri standing next to Boudreaux. They have a bad relationship with Rodri, so they immediately ask him to leave. He liked the robot, but since he is now in a relationship with Cassidy, he decides to leave them. They bought the ring, now all that's left is to go home. However, at this point Benny contacts them and warns them that agents are looking for them. At this point, they almost crash into an agent's car. They manage to get to the other side of the railroad track in time and get away from the pursuers. They understand perfectly well that it is dangerous to hide Bardo in their house. So they rent a cheap motel and leave the robot there. The senator, who has found out who stole his robot, comes to Limous' house at night. He warns him that if he voluntarily returns the robot the next day, he will be left alone. Limous does not want to lose Boudreaux, as he has managed to become attached to her during this time. The next day, Benny explains that their robots may have consciousness. This could create a new problem for them. They see that the agents have surrounded the building. This further complicates their situation and they begin to plan an escape. However, the agents soon find their room and take them away. The agents throw Leonard and Limous into the trunk of a car, which infuriates Boudreaux. When the agent refuses to let them go, Boudreaux knocks him out. Although several guards surround her and try to stop her, Boudreaux proves to be physically stronger than them. However, she decides to walk away from them so her friends won't get hurt. She is spotted by Rodri and taken to his house. A few days later, he shows up at Limous' workplace and brags about his successes. He then details what he did to Boudreaux. This angers them both and they decide to get revenge. At a party, Rodri dances in the center of the dance floor with Boudreaux. This makes his girlfriend jealous and she slaps him and leaves the house in tears. Cassidy meets Lemus and Leonard and tells them about her boyfriend's betrayal. This did not please Rodri and he decides to chase them out of his yard. But Boudreaux was against it. She knocks him out with one punch, surprising everyone present. Boudreaux doesn't want to stay with Rodri anymore, and she leaves with him. Meanwhile, Lemus's father discovers that $70,000 has been debited from his account. He immediately goes to the bank and asks the staff to freeze his credit card. At this point, the robot behind the wheel shuts down and they get into an accident. Fortunately, they both survive. Unfortunately, the robot is now in the hands of a senator. Since the robot was damaged in the accident, the senator orders his men to fix it. As time passes, Lemus realizes that he is beginning to miss the robot. In the school cafeteria, he is sad when Cassidy approaches him and asks why he is in a bad mood. Lemus admits that he has fallen in love with the robot. They then discuss their favorite TV shows, and their friendship is rekindled. In the afternoon, Lemus learns that a senator is going to address the nation and informs his friend. They arrive at the speech site with beards glued to their faces to kidnap Boudreaux. They find her in a sitting position. Lemus begins to suspect that she may not remember them. However, upon hearing their voices, the robot opens its eyes. But then the guards appear and chase them away. At that moment Benny comes to their aid, but because of the large number of guards they are forced to flee. At this time, the senator introduces the audience to the technology of the future female robot. And then, to demonstrate the robot, he invites her. But Boudreaux is already helping her friends. They successfully leave the building, get into a car and head to the airport. It turns out that Lemus wants to send the robot to another city, convinced that the senator will do something bad to it. Arriving at the airport, he gives Boudreaux his ticket and confesses his feelings to her. Boudreaux also confesses that she has feelings for him. However, they each have their own road to travel and kiss goodbye. A few days later, Lemus sits sad at work. But then Cassidy arrives, and he feels a great sense of optimism. He realizes that he must act for his own happiness and asks her out. When she agrees, he gets into her car to go straight to the date. This is where the movie ends. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. See you soon!